If asking the left not to say those things is to live in a dream world. If America was founded in 1619, which is what your kids are taught at school, whether it's elementary, high school, or college, which is what the New York Times created of this gigantic lie, which even liberal historians said was a lie. If they're told that America is systemically racist, if they're told that blacks are targeted by police, when the number of unarmed blacks killed each year is minuscule, it's under 23, if I'm not mistaken. And by the way, unarmed doesn't mean not resisting or not even capable of hurting the cop or trying to grab his gun.
Patrick Bet David of the PBD podcast recently welcomed Dennis Prager, founder of Prager U, in studio. In today's video, Patrick Bet David and Dennis Prager react to a clip from Real Time with Bill Maher, where Bill Maher and Van Jones discuss how the left lost Elon Musk and what the Democrat Party can do to stop the bleeding. Let's watch Patrick Bet David and Dennis Prager go off on the problems with the Democrat Party, and if you listen closely, you can hear faint screams of snowflakes screaming in the distance.
Van Jones. Rob, do you have this story with Van Jones? The story of what he's done and how it's pushing people away, Musk and all these other guys. This is Van Jones progressive push people like Musk out of the party by saying all white people are racist. Go ahead and play this clip. Go ahead, Rob.
It's sad that we've lost Elon Musk. And I want to point out, 4 years ago, Elon Musk was an Andrew Yang Democrat.
Yeah.
Don't forget
why
that.
did you lose him?
I mean, he's done great stuff when it comes to climate, when it comes to space, et cetera. And
so was Trump, a Democrat. He was.
Yeah, he was. So,
yeah.
But I just wonder if we look back on this period. There's no excuse for stuff that Elon Musk is doing, the stuff he says, he's irresponsible. But if progressives have a politics that says all white people are racist, all men are toxic, and all billionaires are evil, it's kind of hard to keep them on your side. And so we might want to think about, if you're chasing people out of the party, you can't be mad when they leave. And maybe if we had a different politics, we actually said dignity for everybody, everybody's respected, and we need you, more people might stay.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Says the guy that preaches division, and are you kidding me, bro? Like,
you got to give him credit, because is that an accurate statement or no, Dennis? Dennis, do you think that's an accurate statement?
No,
we just did?
It's obviously an accurate statement, but it's asking the left not to say those things is to live in a dream world. If America was founded in 1619, which is what your kids are taught at school, whether it's elementary, high school, or college, which is what the New York Times created of this gigantic lie, which even liberal historians said was a lie. If they're told that America is systemically racist, if they're told that blacks are targeted by police, when the number of unarmed blacks killed each year is minuscule, it's under 23, if I'm not mistaken. And by the way, unarmed doesn't mean not resisting or not even capable of hurting the cop or trying to grab his gun. Any unarmed. If you can't then say, but there are so many wonderful whites in the country, you can't have it both ways. Again, you can't say he's Hitler, but we don't want to cheat in an election. You can't say we're systemically racist, but the vast majority of whites in the country are wonderful human beings. You can't.
Well, who said if you repeat something enough times,
yes,
everyone's going to believe it?
Goebbels said it. And by the way, that is a very interesting thing that you should raise that, because I am rarely surprised.
Does that surprise anybody watching this right now, that the Democrats are employing messaging tactics from Joseph Goebbels? You say something enough and people will believe it. I don't know, just off the top of my head, maybe he's talking about things like BLM was a good thing, all white people are inherently racist, wear a mask. During the pandemic, get that thing in your arm and you can't give it to someone else. Republicans want to close down the border because it's a threat to whiteness. And the most recent, Donald Trump is Hitler and will end our democracy. That last one really gets under my skin, because I've seen the firsthand effects of it on people I love. After Donald Trump won the election, she knew I voted for Trump, and 99% of my family didn't. I'm not the type to boast or anything like that. I didn't say anything about it, but she brought it up, and I said, oh, what do you think? And she said, I'm really scared for our country. My parents are smart people, but if they get their news from mainstream media, why wouldn't they be terrified? They've heard every day for a year or more that Trump is Hitler, he wants to be a dictator and he'll end democracy. Can you blame them for being caught up in the propaganda? And let's get to Van Crybaby Jones. He complains all the time about white people. And now he's acting like he has an epiphany. Hey, maybe we shouldn't tell all white people they're evil. It's funny how these people are held up as like the experts. Who are they? I never claimed to be that bright, but I had that figured out a long time ago, Van. And of course, when Elon Musk's name came up, he couldn't just have the conversation. He had to take a dig at him. He said something like, we lost Elon Musk. I mean, he's out of control and says crazy things or whatever he said. I'm asking you all to comment in the chat. Maybe I've asked this before, so if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But is it just that the left hates Elon because he's aligned with Donald Trump? Or if you were asking a Democrat and find the one out of a million that can talk to you in good faith about something, what would their answer be as to why the left says he's so crazy and says inappropriate things? I genuinely don't know what he's said or done to trigger people on the left this much. Again, let me know in the comments if you have some idea. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
But I have been.
And Goebbels was the Nazi.
Yeah, the Nazi propaganda minister. So I believed, again, having studied the left and specifically communism, I believed that only in a totalitarian state can you brainwash vast numbers of people. And America in the last 25 years, at least, has shown me to be wrong. You can brainwash a large number of people even in a free society. That we have vast numbers of people who say that a man can become a woman, who say that men give birth. That is pure brainwash. Your brain has been washed of facts and common sense. It's as close to a literal wash as possible. So it's a very sad realization I have come to. It is possible to brainwash large numbers of people in a free society.
How do they do it?
By what you just said, repetition. And because
it works.
Because people, this is another critical point. We know what they know. They don't know what we know. I asked, I won't say who, I'll just say a relative of mine who is extremely bright, extremely. I won't go further than that. I can give his credentials. And I said to him, I'm just curious, did you ever hear of Jordan Peterson? And he said, who?
That's wild. From someone who is relatively well-educated, as Dennis Prager just described his relative, and a smart person, knows what's going on in the world. Even if he despised him, to not know who Jordan Peterson is a travesty. Because I'm sure there are varying opinions about him out there, but his overall underlying message to take accountability, don't lie, clean up your side of the street before you tell other people to clean up their side of the street. Whatever you think of him, the things he's teaching young people, and his fan base is largely men, these are good things. And he tells young men that masculinity is good. I'm misquoting Dennis here, but it's kind of like the old adage, you don't know what you don't know. All of us, but I think leftists maybe to a further extent, I could be wrong, are in echo chambers. And clearly his echo chamber shielded him from even being exposed to one of the great minds. Not just on the right. Jordan Peterson, when he started out, he never said, I'm right wing. As he gained more popularity, he just began speaking out more and more against how far the left has gone. And that just made him a right-wing figure. And we'll get back to the video, but I also think it's interesting that Dennis Prager, who I consider very knowledgeable, had the belief at one point that you can only brainwash citizens in a totalitarian society. If you think about what's been going on primarily in the last 5 years, maybe to 10 years, the last time I paused the video, I listed a bunch of things that were repeated over and over and over, and a lot of people just said, okay, that must be right. And then he mentioned some of the craziest ones, like men can be women and men can get pregnant. The messaging on television and media was, these are brave, stunning people, and they deserve all the respect in the world. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
We can name Ta-Nehisi Coates, and we could name all of their guys. They can't name one of our guys. They don't read us. They don't study under us. They don't watch us. We study under them, we read them, and we watch them. That's a big part of the reason brainwash is possible. I get the New York Times. They don't get the Epic Times. To pick one conservative paper out of the thin air.
It's an interesting final point Dennis made there. I completely admit that I probably see the worst of the left because I'm usually, farming for stories where I can essentially make fun of their leadership and their politicians and their news anchors. So I'm definitely in a echo chamber of my own, and I do try to check myself on that. But Dennis is right. I have a full awareness of who is influential on the other side, whether it be an author, a politician, a newsman, or woman. I'm gender blind. But I think you get the point. They're just shielded from the places that we get our influences from. And I think the left likes it that way because I guarantee if a lot of young men on the left heard Jordan Peterson for the first time and they'd felt kind of lost and needed some direction in their life, which whether you have one parent in the home, two parents in the home, I think a lot of young people need at some point in their life, and someone's able to articulate that well enough to them that a light bulb goes off. Anyway, a lot of those people on the left, if they heard that, they may be rethinking everything in their life, including their political affiliation. So I think the left very much likes the fact that their people aren't exposed to influential folks on the right. Anyway, that's it for this video. As always, please leave comments and let us know what you think about this video. And we really appreciate you being here. We'll see you on the next one.